Hi everybody, I'm Ben with Xena Forest Products.
I'm Andrea with Xena Forest Products. And today we're here to talk to Ben about engineered versus solid plank wood flooring. And Ben's an expert.
Okay.
Ben, can you tell us about this today?
I'd be happy to. So what I have here is a piece of traditional 2¼ inch wide solids hardwood flooring. It's one solid piece of wood all the way through the full 3/4 of an inch. This is what you see in all the traditional old homes around the country.
Including mine.
Including yours, absolutely. And it's very common. It's what's been around for a very long time. There's an important thing to learn about hardwood flooring. So the top third is what's called the wear layer. You can sand and refinish 4, 5, 6 times until you get to the top of the tongue and groove joint where these two fit together. And you'll see there's a tiny little notch right there. Mm-hmm. That's where the nail goes, right on top of the tongue. And so once you've sanded down to that and exposed the nail heads, at that point, that's the end of the life of the floor.
So that's almost there.
Yours is almost there.
One more sanding.
So when you sand to that, that's the end of the floor. So that top third is called the wear layer. The bottom 2/3 is holding the floor in place. So what we've done with our engineered floor is we've kept that top third right above the nail groove there. But that's Oregon white oak, really beautiful, durable hardwoods. But underneath, we have a high-grade plywood. And that does a couple things for us. First and foremost, it stretches our precious resource. So for every tree that we cut down here in the Xena Forest, by engineering it versus making a solid piece of flooring, we can make 3 times as many square feet per tree we cut down. So it's a much better use of our resource. Secondarily, as the person living on this floor, you have a floor that is going to stay flatter and stay tighter over many generations. And the reason for that is this plywood, all these little layers in here are crossed to each other. It adds a lot of stability to the floor.
And I know that in my floor, it's almost 100 years old, and I see gaps, so things fall between the gaps. So I would love a floor that was tight like that.
Absolutely, and the reason for those gaps is wood is a sponge. It's a natural material. It's going to expand and contract with those seasons, and over years and years and years of it moving back and forth on the floor, it starts to develop those gaps. It's not perfectly flat anymore. It'll start to cup, and it's not flat. It's fine. It's an old rustic floor. It's still working for you. You can still walk on it. However, for me, the sign of a good floor is a floor you can slide across on with your socks.
I can't do that on mine.
So by engineering it, we reduce that movement by 2/3. That plywood adds a lot of dimensional stability so that throughout the seasons, that board is going to stay flatter. They're going to stay tighter to each other, not move back and forth as much. And that allows us to also make wider boards. Traditionally, flooring was always 2¼ inches because with a solid piece of wood, if you start going too wide, that movement gets completely out of control and you have a barn floor. When we engineer it, we can make much wider boards that still stay nice and flat and tight for generations.
That's beautiful.
And then even with this wear layer on top of here, we can still sand that 4 or 5 times above the plywoods. Once you've exposed the plywoods, that's the end of the floor. Just the same as with a solid floor. Once you've exposed the tongue and groove joint and the nail joint, it's the end of the floor. Also, go ahead.
So what's the expected life expectancy for a floor like this?
It would be equivalent to a solid floor, which is 4 to 5 sandings. That's a sanding usually happens once a generation. And so you can do the math, it's going to be well over 100 years. One of the other sort of more subtle advantages of an engineered floor over a solid floor is solid flooring. You put these two together, you feel a little step there. That's called overwood. And when the floor is first installed and then sanded and finished in place, the installer has to sand that flat. Now, wood likes to twist, it likes to move. Solid wood, when it goes through the machine called a molder that puts the tongue and groove on the sides, it's going to move through there a little bit. And so the tongue and groove is never perfect. With our engineered, it has a lot more uniformity to it, so that there is very little There's a sample. Very little over and underwood. So you feel that? It's almost nothing there.
There's hardly
So
any
that first sanding for the installer, when they first put this floor down, it's about half the time to sand an engineered floor as it is to sand a solid floor.
The installers must love that.
Makes the installers happy.
That's great.
And it saves your wear layer. You don't lose you lose about half as much in your first sanding as you would with a solid floor, giving you that much more life on the floor.
Wow, that's great.
Do you want to talk about the glues that are on engineered floors?
I would love, yes, tell me all about the glues. Yeah, tell me more about this inside layer.
So there's glue in here, whereas this does not have any glue. And having a solid floor with no glue is really nice. It's something you can have confidence in. However, we've spent almost a decade now doing R&D on our floors to make sure this is something that all of us here at Xena can stand behind and feel good about. It's what I have in my house. It's what I stand behind and feel good that you can put it in your home. The glue between the hardwood and the plywoods, it's actually made here in Oregon.
Oh, that's
great. It's a PVA glue. It's fully waterproof, fully non-toxic.
Yay.
The glue between the layers of veneers and the plywoods is also fully non-toxic, fully waterproof. All of our material, we run it through 2 tests regularly. First, we do the is it waterproof test. And it's a really rigorous test where we have to soak it in hot water for 12 hours. Then we put it in an oven for 18 hours. Then we put it back in the hot water for 12 hours. Then back in the oven for 18 hours. You do that 3 times over the course of a couple days and it can't fail. That's a really good indication that the glue is truly waterproof.
That sounds great.
It's amazing. And it's amazing to know what modern technology can do with glues and woods.
Now this also has a declare label, doesn't it?
It does. And so in order to get our declare label, which is really like a nutrition label or ingredients label for wood products, we sent it down to California to a laboratory where they tested it to the California Department of Public Health indoor air quality standards, which are the most strict air quality standards in the world. It didn't even register. It passed that test with flying colors. There are no VOCs, no volatile organic compounds of any sorts being emitted from this floor. And so it really is, it's inert, it's stable, and it's waterproof. Again, something I can stand behind.
That's great. Can you tell me more about the top layer and where this wood comes from?
So all of this, what we're looking at here, this is Oregon white oak, one of the couple species we work with. All of this grows right here in Oregon. And Oregon oak in particular is really one of the iconic trees in Oregon. And it's incredibly dense and durable. It's one of the densest and most durable of all the North American hardwoods. It's beautiful, and it's what grows all around the mill here. And most of our wood comes from restoration work, places where hardwood is being retained and restored. The whole mission of what we do here at Xena is trying to support good stewardship of forest lands and support the restoration of these forests throughout the Willamette Valley. And that's where this wood comes from. And by turning it into flooring, we're able to support that work in the forest.
That's great. And you are FSC certified.
We are. So our forest, where some of our wood comes from, is FSC certified. And as much as possible, we source from every FSC forest we can get our hands on.
That's great.
So much of our wood is FSC certified. FSC is really, it's like an organic certification, but for forestry. There are a number of different forest certification schemes in the world. FSC is a global certification system. It is the gold standard. It is the highest standard of forest certification that's out there, and one we've been a member of for decades now, and one we're very proud to be part of.
I know that when I want to replace my floor, I'd like a floor like this.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. We hope you've had a great time learning about engineered versus solid plank flooring, and we look forward to seeing you for our next episode. Thank you.